I very much bought into this, excuse my French, materialistic bullshit. All of a sudden, you know, I got corrupted, if you want to call it that. Veteran, aka Russ McDonough. Welcome to this week's video. As you could probably guess from the title of the video which you clicked on, mega simple one this week. Why did we start van life? A couple of reasons I wanted to talk about this was one, we've got a few more subscribers in the last couple of weeks, and I just wanted to say hello to you and thank you for subscribing, but also to kind of like so you can kind of get to know me or us as such. And the second reason is because before we started van life, I found this with a lot of guys who I was working with were asking me, and then as a collective, myself and Gibbo, all of our friends and our family and relatives were like, so you're doing the van life thing, huh? You're going for it, and they wanted to know why. They wanted to get their heads around why we were choosing that lifestyle. And the easiest way for me to answer, I guess, is a three-part answer. So the first part is basically my job at the time, or working away so much. So I did 8 years in the Royal Marines, and when I left, end of 07, beginning of 08, I did what basically every other bootneck did at the time, and I went out to Iraq and I worked in a hostile environment as a private security contractor. The reasons for that were basically big financial, and also I become disillusioned with being in the Marines, and I wanted a new challenge. So I did that, and I was single when I started that. And then about 3 years in, I met Gibbo, the love of my life, and you know, the rest is history, as we say. But one thing which you know, it's tough working away, and when you're working as a private contractor, you're basically working away from home for like 8-9 months of the year. So when you're single, you don't mind as much. Obviously, you still want to be home and see your family, but when you're in a relationship, you're like, it's tough. It's tough to be away from, you know, the woman you love, your boys. They're in the van, by the way. And we were just like, we got to the point where we were like, you know, we're having a relationship over Skype or FaceTime, and it was like, well, this is ridiculous. Coincided with that was the job satisfaction in Iraq was going down, as were the wages, which I know seems a little bit weird, but as time went on, the money dropped, which meant it wasn't really financially worth being out there for 8-9 months of the year anymore. When I did have a few breaks from working in Iraq, or in bits and pieces, I did try jobs at home. You know what? I fucking hated them. I didn't like them. Yeah, full stop really. I just didn't like them. And what I found myself doing was we'd always revert back to, well, we could go back to Iraq, and that's what we ended up doing. And then we'd just fall back into that cycle of 8-9 months of the year away again, and it was just. It got to the point where we were like, this isn't worth it anymore. So the major reason, I guess, that we started van life was because me and Gibbo wanted to spend more time / all the time together. We didn't just want to see each other for a couple of months of the year. So that would be the first major reason, to spend more quality time with my wife, and yeah. Which that then leads me into the second part of the question. With the salary being pretty good for a number of years out in as a security contractor, I very much bought into this, excuse my French, materialistic bullshit. All of a sudden, you know, I got corrupted, if you want to call it that, into buying expensive watches. I was just throwing money around like I was like Jay-Z or someone. And it's just, you know, I got gripped by materialism. And a few years ago, me and Gibbo, and you know, we both did, we were both living the high life as such, going on expensive holidays, you know, oh, we're going to fly business class or something this time. And a few years ago, we were just kind of like, you know what? Oh, you know what? In fact, it was started, we watched a documentary on Netflix called Minimalism, or The Minimalists. And we were watching this, and, well, Gibbo watched it first, and then I came back on a leave, and she said, you really should watch this documentary. And I did, and as I was watching it, I had a light bulb moment, and I was like, shit, that's like, if you haven't watched it, go watch it. And I was like, I've just been so into all this. And the house, you know, we had the nice watches, we had the nice car, we lived in a house, a great house, which in all honesty was way too big for 2 people and 2 dogs. And we had so much crap, which we never used, and we were just like, what are we doing? We don't need all this stuff. And we made a commitment to each other of like, from now on, it's experiences over things, shiny things as such. And ever since then, we've literally, for birthdays, we're like, right, we do stuff instead of buying stuff. We, you know, Christmas presents are more like, have you seen our Christmas video? We bought instead of just buying each other expensive gizzards or whatever, that's what, you know, we wanted to do that. So we sold, basically we sold 95% of our possessions. We sold our house, which was tough actually. And so we eBayed pretty much everything. And that's actually that's a question which a few people ask me is, why didn't you just go on van life and not, you could have just kept your house. The reason at the time was because we wanted financial freedom. Yes, we did consider, you know, for a long time renting the house out, but then you've always got that tie, and if something goes wrong, you're like, shit, you know, we've got to, now the boiler's broken, so we're gonna have to invest in that. And another reason we didn't go for it was because our mortgage company, when we spoke to them about it, they said, oh, you can do that, but we're gonna raise the mortgage by something like £180 a month for you to be able to rent it out as opposed to just living it yourself. And there was a few more reasons which stacked up, and we were like, let's just cut ties. And retrospectively, I'm really pleased we did. I know probably a few of you might be thinking, well, it would have been there when you finished van life or whatnot. But in all honesty, we didn't really want to end up back in Shropshire. Nothing against Shropshire, but it wasn't where we wanted to live for the rest of our lives. And Tony Robbins says a really great quote: if you want to succeed, burn the boats. And at the beginning of van life, when we were adjusting from going from this big house to quite a small van, there was a few times where we were like, you know, this is hard. And if we'd had the house, we could have maybe just went, oh, shall we go back? This is really tough. But the fact we didn't have that anymore meant we persevered, we've carried on, and we've just fallen in love with van life now, and everything, and the adventure it brings on a daily basis. And that leads very nicely into the third part of the answer, is travel. You know, when me and Gibbo first got together, we loved our holidays. They were always way too short, only being 2 weeks, and we were always gutted when we had to, you know, go back to work and whatnot. But we always loved traveling to whatever country we went to. And I guess that touches on with the experiences over things. We wanted to go traveling on our terms. We wanted to see the world in a van with our dogs, and just basically, you know, hopefully one day find a little piece of land somewhere, and I don't even know where it'll be, and that will feel like home, and we'll be like, yeah, this is home for us now, and that's where we'll settle down as such. But yeah, we traveling, we love traveling, and we just wanted to do it for more than just 10 days at a time, a week at a time. And I think that's probably a really long-winded answer to quite a simple question as such. Yeah, Gibbo, any thoughts?
I guess we also wanted to travel while we're young and fit,
right.
and you don't know when your time's going to end.
Yeah.
So.
You know what? That is cheers, Gibbo. That is, I always rant about this to people. Actually, I can't believe I forgot this. Basically, I can't get my head round why, as human beings, we don't know when our time's up, right? We could literally kick the bucket in any moment. But we fall into this system of you start work at 16 or 18 or whatever you do, and you work until you're 65 or whenever the retirement age is going to be, 67, 70 by the time you get there. And it's like, and they keep off, and the belief is that when you retire, that's when you can go traveling and you can see the rest of the world. But before then, you get 2 weeks off a year to go traveling, or maybe 4 weeks or whatnot. But when you're 67, you're knackered. I can imagine you're probably like, I don't want to go traveling. I want to sit in my house and watch, Antiques Roadshow. Maybe that's not all 67-year-olds, but I'm thinking that's it, and I don't understand why we're not encouraged more to go traveling in our 20s, 30s more often, because that's when you're in the prime of your life as such, in your 40s, etc. So yeah, that's a mega fair point Gibbo's brought up, and I did want to mention that, but I forgot. So we'll ask Gibbo again. Any other things I've forgotten?
No.
That's it. All right, like I said, it's quite a long-winded answer to a short question, simple question. And I've probably forgotten stuff, but you know what? That is why we started van life, and we love it. Me and Gibbo really love it. We really hope our boys love it, Cookie and Hooch. We think they do, and that is that basically. So, with that being said, if you like this video or you like my answers, give it a thumbs up, please. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, it would mean the world to me if you did. Please. If you want to share the video, by all means, go for it. And I think that's it. The fire's gone out. It's looking a pathetic fire now, so I better start getting a grip of that. Until next week, appreciate you watching, and laters.